Part 9. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjaya Old Thief. Chapter 81. Eternal Core City. Wolf's Den, deep inside. Before Yabai sat down, he spoke directly. A quick decision. After we finish talking, I have to go to the Eternal Tower. Today's task, SSSS grade, 0/1. One thing at a time. Xuemeng closed the door. We have completely confirmed the list you provided before, and the corresponding value has also been calculated. With that said, Xuemeng handed over a list. Behind each person's name, there is a corresponding reward amount. You reported a total of 64 people, 25 of whom have been arrested or executed for various reasons, 6 of them are actually our undercover agents, and 9 of them have been under our surveillance for a long time. In other words, the actual number of effective people you report is 24. The final reward amount is 19 million gold coins. 19 million gold coins. Seeing this number, Yebai's eyelids jumped. At the same time, this meritorious service has also helped you directly upgrade the level of Lone Wolf from Gold to Star. As he spoke, Xuemeng stretched out his hand, and a white light fell on the Lone Wolf medal from his palm. Coated with a layer of silver light, the appearance of the wolf's head has also changed slightly. It is no longer as ferocious as before, but has become more restrained, with the light of wisdom shining in its eyes. Congratulations to you for becoming number 1 in War Soldier Star list. Yabai asked curiously, how many people are there on the Soldier Star list? 1. Yabai. He is the first, and he is also the last. Indeed, there are very few people who can be on the star ranking in the warrior stage. Many people don't even have any chance to accumulate meritorious service and directly become generals. Yebai's situation is an exception among exceptions. Where is the reward for the leader of the 4th demon cult? Yabai quickly moved to the next question. 19 million gold coins is indeed an astronomical number. But what Yabai needs now, 19 million is just a sprinkle of water. To repair Nightmare Wind, SSS level materials are required. Building top-notch armor also requires high-quality materials, preferably S level or above. Just for these two things, I don't know how much money I have to spend. Xuemeng said in a deep voice. You also know that the leader of the demon cult is not dead yet. The full reward that should have been given to you can only be discounted now. Yabai. Careless. If I had known this was the case. Yabai will definitely collect the reward first, and then report it again. Maximize the value of reporting. This wave is called one person eats more. One cannot step into the same river twice, but Yabai can report it twice. Okay, I've written down this account. Yabai said it as if he had lost money. If I had known better, I wouldn't have stopped Master Zhu and let him fulfill his promise. Xuemeng, who was sitting opposite Yabai, suddenly felt a chill on the back of his neck, as if something ominous was coming. Yingzhu, I thought you didn't stop me either. Stop talking about these happy things, let's get straight to the point, how much does it cost? Yabai was very calm. He saw clearly that he and Xuemeng just came into the house to talk about money. I'll give you 12 points of God of War merit, but I think you may need this more. As he spoke, Xuemeng took out a 3-meter-long bone rod from his pocket. This is. The pale bone stick lay in front of Yabai. The bones were still hung with shredded meat, steaming, and the bone marrow was not cold yet. The freshness was 100%. Obviously, the bone rod was delivered to Xuemeng the moment it was stripped off. The right leg bone of the 3-headed dog king of hell. Yes, you should need SSS level materials, right? It's necessary. Yabai looked at the steaming bones and was speechless for a moment. Is this done on the spot? The 3-headed dog king of hell, when he becomes an adult, he is also a god of war level existence. Although the three heads often quarrel and disagree, each has his own ideas and even kills each other. But that's still the god of war. How did he end up in such a miserable state? Just like the Qingjiang fish in the grilled fish shop, he killed him whenever he asked. No profit leads to no extinction. I want it. Ye Bai placed the order without hesitation. Go ahead and kill, I just want to buy and sell. Look here. Xuemeng actually took out an anatomy diagram and introduced it to Ye Bai seriously. In addition to cartilage, the Cerberus has a total of 72 bones available when it reaches adulthood. Place your order now for the complete set of skeletons, except the skull, and enjoy a 12% discount. A deposit of 12 God of War merit points can be redeemed for 20 God of War merit points. You leave it here to pay the deposit on double 12. Ye Bai directly took out all his belongings. How much can I exchange for 19 million gold coins and 12 God of War merits? According to common sense, 1 God of War merit is equal to 1 million gold coins, and adding them together is 31 God of War merits. Xuemeng calculated. If I can buy the bones of the limbs, I still have 60 God of War merit points before I can buy the complete set. 60 God of War merits, which is 60 million gold coins. Ye Bai suddenly wanted to find a few more demon cult believers to report. Money has been a little tight lately, but I have been relatively righteous in my heart recently, and I am irreconcilable with evil. Ye Bai still endured his heartache and said, I want this skeleton. I'll pay the deposit first, and the balance, I'll find a way to settle it. Xuemeng reminded, this account cannot be held on my head. What are you talking about? I, Shura, am such a person. Xuemeng's eyes silently told Ye Bai, you are. The right leg bone was handed over to Ye Bai, and Xuemeng said that the rest of the bones would be sent over in the next 3 days. Okay, it's okay. I'm leaving now. Let's drink tea another day. Ye Bai said that he was about to get up and go get the 5,000 single meals. Wait a minute, someone asked me to give you something. Xuemeng stopped Ye Bai and took out several skill books from his arms. Second uncle said, I will give you 2 skill books. Oh. Ye Bai's eyes lit up. Xuemeng's second uncle is also Ye Bai's second brother. Wilhen's skill book has finally arrived. There are still options. He is worthy of being the most elegant and powerful person, and he is reliable in everything he does. These are all melee skills. It's weird for you to learn them as a mage. Xuemeng didn't say anything more, but pushed the skill book in front of Ye Bai and said, there are 5 books in total here. You can take them back and study them slowly. When you use up 2 copies, the remaining 3 copies will disappear automatically. Looking at the 5 skill books in front of him, Ye Bai's first reaction was, is there any way to prevent the other 3 books from disappearing? I don't know when. The bug has become Ye Bai's instinct engraved deep in his soul. It is not easy to pluck out the wool of the most powerful person. Ye Bai should cherish this opportunity. If Ye Bai can really succeed in fixing the bug, it will be Ye Bai's own fault. A person as generous as Wilhen would naturally not say much. Yes, I can. Using a sword of the heavenly god of war grade, I can temporarily seal 3 skill books and learn them again when I am strong enough. But do you have a sword of the heavenly war god level and SS level? Do you have one? I don't have one. I only have a hammer. Having said this, Xuemeng was very excited and even roared. Can you understand my mood? I use a sword. After becoming the god of war, he can only use one hammer. Hammer. He's anxious, he's anxious. Ye Bai, I don't quite understand. I have the heavenly king's sword. But when the words came to my lips, they were as silent as spring rain moistening things. I can understand your feelings. Indeed, this kind of equipment is rare and not everyone has the opportunity to own it. What Ye Bai said was sincere and every word was true. You kid finally said something humane. Xuemeng sighed. Close the door when you go out. By the way, be careful. What are you careful about? The Eternal Tower has been infected by demons too frequently recently. If you go to the 7th floor tonight, you'll probably run into some trouble. Speaking of this, Xuemeng frowned. I don't know what that weird old man is doing. Kuai Dao, most of them are talking about Xiaoyao. Hearing this, Ye Bai also felt a little strange. After all, the 1st floor, the 2nd floor, and Ye Bai all encountered the devil's men. The Eternal Tower is clearly guarded by the most powerful, so it shouldn't be so neglected. Keeping this in mind, Ye Bai turned and left. After he walked away, Xuemeng laughed out loud. No, I think too much. If anyone meets this shameless boy, they will be in bad luck. This kid will cause harm wherever he goes. After leaving the office, Ye Bai applied for a personal space at the front desk of Wolf Nest. Star Lone Wolf, SS level confidentiality level. You can conduct combat prowess tests, skill exercises, equipment forging, etc. inside. Room number SS-002, permission has been approved, scan the Lone Wolf medal to enter. Thanks. Ye Bai carried a single meal for 5,000 people and stuffed it into the storage space before heading to SS-002. There was a slight chatter from behind. 9th level warrior, Star Lone Wolf, am I right? He is the junior that Xuemeng is optimistic about. He may have made some great achievements. There have been many precedents in the past. Indeed, the Star Lone Wolf of the warrior level, his reputation is greater than his strength. Only when he becomes a warrior will his true potential be seen. Wow, he brought a lot of food, can he finish it by himself? It can only be said that some people always have different concerns. Entering the SS-002 room, Ye Bai took out the skull and right leg bone of the three-headed hell dog. First try to repair the nightmare wind, and then look at the skill book Wuhan gave you. Xuemeng's final reminder forced Ye Bai to cheer up. If there is demonic contamination on the 7th floor, it will probably be a little difficult to achieve 100% exploration. If he can strive for SSSS level clearance, Ye Bai will naturally not miss it. In this way, Ye Bai needs to be fully prepared before setting off. Let's start. Ye Bai looked at the nightmare wind that was about to attack, and threw the skull of the three-headed hell dog into it. In an instant, the wind of nightmare swallowed up the skull and even burped. Hiccup. Chicken flavor, crunchy and crunchy. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjio Old Thief. Chapter 82. Wolf's Den, Room SS-002. After devouring the skull, Nightmare Wind burped. Seeing this, Ye Bai threw in the big bone stick he just bought. This time, the Nightmare Wind devoured him faster. After a heart-stopping grinding sound, not even the bones were left. After swallowing 2 pieces of SSS level materials in succession, Nightmare Wind's durability was greatly restored. Corresponding information appeared in front of Ye Bai. Equipment, Nightmare Wind, Leave 21. Grade, SSS grade. Durability, 0.201%. Attributes, Agility add 201, Strength add 200, Constitution add 200. Physical/demon defense, 201. Entry. I am broken, please fix me, I really miss myself as good as ever. 3 elements mastery, choose any 3 elements, all spell effects add 2%. Shadow of the three-headed dog of hell, summons a shadow of the three-headed dog of hell, leave 20, to fight for you. When it is defeated, it needs to rest for 24 hours before it can fight again. After devouring 2 bones, Nightmare Wind's durability only increased by 0.2%. A hell three-headed dog king can only provide 72 bones, which is 7.2% durability. To completely repair the nightmare wind, you need to get close to the 14-headed three-headed dog king of hell. Black lines appeared on Yebai's face. He had greatly underestimated Nightmare Wind's ability to swallow gold. However, judging from the entries for mastery of 3 elements and shadow of the three-headed dog of hell, whatever materials are thrown in will have a chain reaction and increase the corresponding entries. Yebai was planning to wait until all the bones of the three-headed dog king of hell were thrown away, and then see if there were any other suitable SSS level materials. If you want to maximize the combat effectiveness of Nightmare Wind, you must ensure the diversity of materials during the repair process. Proficient in 3 series, Yebai set it to Wind, Fire, and Thunder. Although there is only a 2% bonus, it is enough. Once all the bones of the three-headed dog king of hell arrive, this ratio should increase. Yebai felt his head hurt at the thought of still owing a huge debt of 60 million gold coins. Don't think about this anymore. Yebai tied up his cloak and thought about it. The shadow of the three-headed dog of hell. A vicious dog half as tall as a man jumped out of the shadows, grinning with a ferocious look. Little cute, chicken flavor, crunchy and crunchy, I'll make you cry. Monster, three-headed dog of hell, infancy. Leave 20. HP, 45,000. MP, 30,000. Physical defense, 380. Magic defense, 400. Skills, vicious dog roar, watchdog. In terms of combat power alone, this shadow can sweep through 6th level soldiers. It's okay, better than nothing. The strength of the 6th level soldiers is indeed not enough for Yebai now. But this is just 2 bones, the shadow of the three-headed dog from hell. The strength is weak, but the potential is enough. When all the bones are gathered together, not to mention the God of War level, at least it will be comparable to the King of War. In this way, Yebai had one more way to save his life. Come back. The three-headed hell dog turned into a shadow and disappeared into the shadow of nightmare behind Yebai. As long as it is not killed, it can always exist. After being defeated, it only takes 24 hours to summon again. Putting aside the matter of nightmare shadow, Yebai began to study the 5 skill books given by Wuhan. This level requirement is too high. Yebai couldn't help rolling his eyes. Only now did he understand why Wuhan gave away 5 books at once. For 4 of them, the lowest level to study is level 200. There is only one book that Yebai can really learn from now. Calm down, the higher the level requirement, the stronger the skills. Now that he has made up his mind to use the Heavenly King Sword to block bugs, these 5 skill books cannot escape Yebai's clutches. With the meat in his mouth, could Yebai still let him fly? Even if it really flies, Yebai will get his money back with interest. After Yebai calmed down, he concentrated on studying the skill book in front of him. No trace, no water flow. There is even a background introduction in the skill book. At level 50, I learned a sword that can kill the King of War. Second brother is still good at pretending. This is good. Copy it and use it in the future. Yebai has already thought about it. A few decades later, he would also leave a skill book to the outside world. Shura lightning arrow, I understand an arrow at level 1, which can kill gods and demons. Yebai put the skill book in his palm, and a white light flashed. Learning the skill to cut off the water flow was successful. Breaking water, draw your sword and slash the opponent at an extremely fast speed, causing 2000 add 1.5 * physical attack, physical damage. The target hit by the cut-off water flow will not be able to recover its HP within 5 seconds. Consumption, none. Cooling time, 5s. The skill introduction is very concise. Cutting off the water flow has 2 effects, damage and treatment reduction. Wrong. It shouldn't be said that treatment is reduced, it should be said that treatment is eliminated. Second brother is no worse than me in cheating. Yebai sighed. Sure enough, the most powerful people are all hanging on the wall. However, there was one thing Ye Bai didn't quite understand. Besides the fact that water flow is free of treatment, the damage itself is not high. The second brother said that this sword can kill the War King. Is the second brother bragging? Based on Ye Bai's understanding of Wuhan, this possibility is very small. Perhaps the combination of Duan Shui Shui and the second brother's own talent is enough to unleash a terrifying power and kill the War King. Putting away the remaining skill books, Ye Bai tried releasing the broken water flow a few more times, and it felt good. Second brother probably has never taught anyone else this move. Very good, from today on, I am senior brother Duan Shui Shui. Ye Bai felt a sword in his hand, looking down at the world's heroes. I, Shura, am not targeting anyone. I am saying that all the demons here are __________. Put away the Heavenly King sword. If Xuemeng sees this thing, it will easily cause high blood pressure. To take care of the physical and mental health of middle-aged and elderly people, Ye Bai decided to keep a low profile. Walk out of room SS002 and come to the front desk. Diamond was very impressed by him and asked proactively, "Is there anything else?" In order to prevent Ye Bai from taking a preemptive strike, Diamond quickly added. Xuemeng explains that you can no longer keep accounts from him. Am I that kind of person? Ye Bai was very angry. Why did they look down on people? I just want to ask if we can pass the Shura SSSS level. What kind of promotions do we have here? Ah, this. Dai Meng was stunned. Is this guy still holding a grudge against Waden? Once you pass the SSSS grade on the same day, you will get 20% off on all purchases. Twice, 50% off. 3 times, 10% off. 4 times, free of charge. Diamond quickly formulated the rules and even wrote these conditions on a small blackboard and hung them in a conspicuous place at the front desk. Thank you, I understand. Ye Bai calculated in his heart. In 6 hours today, I can clear the SSSS level up to 2 times, and I can buy food at a 50% discount, which is not cost effective. Why spend money when you can get it for free? I just extorted 5,000 pieces of food from Xuemeng, enough to feed the miners for a few days. Wait until you are confident that you have cleared the SSSS level at least 3 times before purchasing. Saying goodbye to Diamond, Ye Bai walked out of the combat strength test hall and came to the street. Summoning the eternal core crystal, Ye Bai put his palm on it and felt a little cold. Please select the level to go to. 7th floor. A white light engulfed Ye Bai. A familiar sound sounded in my ears again. I wish you can clear the Eternal Tower as soon as possible. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 83. Eternal Tower, 7th floor. Extremely cold cliff. Call. The cold wind is like a knife, attacking people all over the body. If they find a little gap, they will dive in without hesitation and give people a refreshing blow. Not long before Ye Bai entered the 7th floor. Several figures shrouded in black robes stood on the top of the extremely cold cliff, facing each other. We shouldn't meet like this, it's too dangerous. One of them spoke, and his voice was obviously processed, similar to dozens of people speaking at the same time, including men, women, old and young, like a chorus. The weakest person present is the King of War. According to common sense, he would never come to such a low level. What's more, the Eternal Tower is guarded by Xiaoao. Trying to do something small under the eyes of the other party is no different from seeking death. The most powerful person in the field slowly spoke. That person has been in retreat since yesterday. This sentence gave everyone present a reassurance. As we all know, once the most powerful Xiaoao starts to retreat, he will never show up and take action. It can be as short as 7 days, or as long as several years. Once upon a time, the Tongtian god of war faced a life-or-death crisis, and Xiao Ao was in seclusion, but still did not come to the rescue. Same. Regarding the most powerful person Xiao Ao, this information should be highly confidential, and only a very few people can know it. Obviously, the person who spoke earlier had a high status in the human race. After hearing the news, a voice rang out. I couldn't suppress my trembling, and I was extremely frightened. I just heard this man ask cautiously. He is going to hit the last level again. The strongest person Xiao Ao has been living in the Eternal Tower since he became famous. His so-called retreat is only for one thing, clearing the Eternal Tower. Yes. After receiving a positive reply, the man hurriedly said. For this operation, the 12th demon god's subordinates have withdrawn. It's too dangerous. My lord, the 8th demon god, is not interested. Farewell. Several figures disappeared from the spot without leaving any trace, as if they had never been there. They are all shady rats, coming from the middle and upper levels of various major demonic sects. Since Shura appeared in the world, the living space left for them has become smaller and smaller. The 4th demon sect has been wiped out in one fell swoop. The leader's life and death are unknown, and his whereabouts are unknown. They knew in their hearts that on the road to Shura's rise, there was no room for buffering or compromise between humans and demons. The struggle between the two sides will only intensify, the intensity of the war will become higher and higher, and even the god of war level warriors will fall. And the first ones to be impacted were the scoundrels from the demon sect. This is the general trend. Many people in the demon cult fled directly to the abyss plane and never returned to Blue Star. Most of the demon sect believers who stayed on Blue Star had their own missions and purposes, or were lucky enough to think that they would not be discovered. There are 4 figures left on the extreme cold cliff. In addition to the organizer who summoned everyone, there were also 2 gods of war and a king of war. There are always those who are not afraid of death. Since that person is in seclusion, we can chat more. Hurry up, I only have 3 minutes. You are the leader of the number 1 demon cult, right? Are you still lacking someone? You have experience as a leader. You are optimistic, hardworking, and the most important thing is that you have always had good luck. The 3 of them spoke one after another. The host in the middle spoke again. Who I am has nothing to do with you. You just need to know that I have Shura's weakness and can stop him on the 7th floor. The 3 of them suddenly became interested. Tell me your plan. If possible, my lord is willing to invest some resources. The host spoke again. You also know that Shura once killed a giant python in a mine in 0.01 seconds. This shows that he has extremely strong explosive ability. That's right, continue. I need each of your demon gods to contribute some of your original power to create a monster to replace the 7th floor boss. If the plan succeeds, Shura will have no chance of passing the level. The words were unfounded, and the corresponding information appeared in the palm of the host and was distributed to the 3 people. The 3 of them are all powerful and experienced people. You can tell the depth by just glancing at the information. Is it a 2-stage boss? It's kind of interesting. Ignore physical damage in the first stage and only take magic damage. After killing, you will enter the 2nd stage, ignoring magic damage and only taking physical damage. Several people nodded one after another, very satisfied with the information in the document. Yes, Shura has even thought of practicing melee combat. In such a short time, it is absolutely impossible to defeat the boss alone. And the 2nd stage also comes with a high life recovery ability, so it is indeed sure to stop Shura. Yes, even if I am at level 200, I cannot guarantee victory against this boss. Is it true that your first demon cult doesn't want a leader? As for the other 2, I have extensive experience in bankruptcy and reorganization, and am good at leading the demonic cult to make a comeback. It was a normal conversation about conspiracy and conspiracy. The atmosphere became weird because a certain war king kept interrupting. The three war gods unanimously ignored this living treasure and continued to discuss the plan against Shura. I have one more question. A vaguely silhouetted god of war spoke, the boss is indeed powerful, but what if we send a strong person to directly kill it? A few days ago, a bull-headed warrior broke into the first floor. Because he was seriously injured and his strength was greatly reduced, the human race didn't take it seriously at all and regarded it as Shura's experience baby. In fact, Shura did easily harvest the opponent, and even gained a lot. But this time, the situation is completely different. The monster they created using the origin of the devil is only level 60 on paper, but its real combat power is close to that of the King of War. In this case, the human race will definitely send out strong men to kill ruthlessly and help Shura clear the obstacles to his progress. If so, then their plan was really a waste of water, destroying the origin of the devil in vain. That's the essence of the whole plan. The host said slowly. With the help of the eternal rules of the 7th level, we created a level 60 boss. It will have its own entry all illusion, any existence higher than level 60 cannot cause harm to it. It is precisely because of this entry that I need to gather the origins of many demons. Otherwise, my family is enough. As soon as these words came out, even the King of War, who had always been a treasure trove before, was a little shocked. The eternal rules, can they actually be exploited to this extent? Is this person a subordinate of that person? The gods of war only dared to think about these words in their hearts and did not dare to ask them out loud. If anyone in the world knows the eternal rules best, that must be the strongest human race Xiaoao. A leader of the demon cult, he was able to be accurate until the time when Xiaoao was in seclusion, and he was still so familiar with the eternal rules. It's hard not to think about it. GGG. Here comes the standard villain laugh. The four people present reached an agreement amid laughter. The first demon god comes out of 3 rays of origin. Third demon god, we can release 2 strands of the origin, but the method of creating monsters must be shared with me. The sixth demon god, a ray of origin, a pair of war god level demon eyes, the same conditions as above. The fourth demon god. When the war king said about the fourth demon, the other 3 people looked at him at the same time, their eyes changing slightly. Lian Liankan, is he really not dead? I heard that the oldest and most powerful monster in the shadows attacked, and this one can survive. Xiao Xiao didn't care about other people's eyes and said to himself. Let me see how much I have in stock. The fourth demon god, the 12 strands of origin, I'm all in. His eyes sparkled with excitement. I've always been lucky. I bet I can stop Shura this time. A total of 18 rays of the devil's origin, a pair of war god level magic eyes. It far exceeded the expectations of the host and was truly a surprise. In this way, the final boss will become much stronger and may even have a third form. In this way, we are 100% sure to stop Shura. Shura, don't even think about clearing the level tonight. A strong wind blew, and 4 figures disappeared from the place. And in the cave below the extremely cold cliff, a terrifying monster is growing in the shadows, becoming stronger at an extremely fast speed. Extremely cold village. White light flashed, and Yabai appeared on the snow. People were coming and going in front of him, and the crowds were thick and dark, as if he had broken into a market. Why is it so lively today? The 7th floor of the Eternal Tower is not a single-player dungeon and is not very difficult. Those who can pass levels 3, 4, 5, and 6 will basically not be stuck at this level. Even if you get stuck, you can still move forward by spending some money to ask someone to guide you, sacrificing exploration, and passing the level with a low score. The threshold of the Eternal Tower mostly exists in single-player copies. That is the real gate of hell, blocking the progress of countless people. At the moment, among the newly awakened students, except for Shura, basically no one can break through the first 6 levels. The 7th floor belongs to the lean time, and should be sparsely populated. Just when Yabai was confused, a shout came from his ear. The latest prophecy, the latest prophecy. The boss created by the devil is hidden under the extremely cold cliff. Demon God, boss. Yabai seemed to understand something. Aren't these guys giving up yet? Damn it, why can't you just stay at home and wait for death? Why do you have to come out and kill someone? Yabai was so angry that he smiled crookedly, even a little impatient. Let me Kong, I plan to give you something good this time. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 84. Eternal Tower, 7th floor. Extremely cold village. Yabai looked at the bustling crowd, with different notes floating on everyone's head. Fadeo, Predator, level, 60, restricted. Pastoral Star Language, Holy Word, level, 60, restricted. Everyone has one thing in common, level 60. Strange, why should the level be limited to 60? Yabai walked forward, watching all directions and listening to all directions, collecting as much information as possible. It didn't take him long to figure it out. The demon gods created a boss. Under the protection of eternal rules, beings above level 60 cannot cause harm to it. Yabai was almost amused. Are you afraid that someone will compete with me for the boss? So consider it. If the boss's strength is too outrageous, the top warriors of the human race will directly kill him without giving the opponent a chance to stop him. Nowadays, with the protection of this rule, it seems tricky. If the boss is sealed, Shura will not be able to pass the SSSS level, not even the SSS level. You can kill the boss, with Shura's strength, it may be difficult for one person to do it. At least in the eyes of others, it is basically impossible for Shura to kill the boss by himself. So, this is the last solution they came up with. Yabai looked at the large circle of level 60 players around him and guessed the human race's response. You can use the level limiter below level 200 to forcibly limit the level to level 60 in a short period of time to meet the conditions for killing the boss. These people in front of me are all students from top universities. They were summoned to conquer the boss. Among the crowd, Yabai saw several familiar figures. Zolingzi, Feng Dong, and Feet gathered together and were walking out of the village. Familiar, stay away. Yabai wanted to get information, so he naturally had other ways. In youth mode, the chat between the 3 Zo spirit machines automatically generated subtitles and displayed them in front of Yabai. Zo spirit machine, it's a pity that Xiaoping went to the abyss plane. If she were there, she should be able to serve as the main output. Feng Dong, what are you afraid of? I will take you flying. Fit, aren't you thinking about failing the class? You're going to get extra credits this time. Feng Dong, looking at your awareness, when it's time to go to the battlefield, do I still have to be forced with a knife? Feng Dong, silly man, you probably don't know how high the casualty rate of the strongest generation is. Back then, only one person in the class of the strongest nightmare survived. Yabai, turn it off quickly, how can you eavesdrop on others? You are very happy to see it. Yabai frowned slightly, very concerned about the last thing Feng Dong said. What is the casualty rate of the strongest nightmare's classmates? This was the first time Yabai heard about this. He wrote this line on the palm of his hand and looked at it with his eyes. Elementary school, junior high school, university. 4 options were placed in front of Yabai. Elementary school. 100%. Junior high school. 100%. The answers to the 4 options are all 100%. Ye Bai fell into silence and soon realized that something was wrong. Yingju is said to have played with the most powerful nightmare since childhood. The two have a close relationship and follow each other like a shadow. If the casualty rate of Nightmare's classmates is 100%, then what happened to Shadow 9? Ye Bai hurriedly wrote another line. Where's Master Ju? He is half dead. This topic was a bit heavy, so Ye Bai shook his head and did not delve into it further. Everyone has everyone's secrets. Shura has done meritorious service for the human race, and Yingju protects Shura. This is something that both parties acquiesce in and even take for granted. Don't owe each other anything. As for what secrets Lord Ju is carrying, it is not something Ye Bai can touch at the moment. Soon, Ye Bai learned 2 more pieces of data from the Eye of Insight. When the most powerful Wuhan was in college, the mortality rate of his classmates was 64%. Xiaoao, 43%. 2 shocking numbers. This made Ye Bai couldn't help but think of himself. Where is Shura? According to past experience, getting close to the strongest seed means losing half your life. Yingju once said, the strongest will always appear in the most dangerous places. And a group of people who choose to follow the most powerful person also put their lives in danger. Apparently, casualty rates are no secret at top universities. Feng Dong can mention it casually, and basically everyone knows about it. Ye Bai's heart sank a little more. Even so, Feng Dong and others are still thinking of ways to lower their credits, fail classes, and become classmates with the future strongest. No matter how big the risk is behind this, even if they clearly know the risk. Don't get close to the strongest, or you will become unfortunate. Ye Bai grabbed a handful of snow, washed his face, and cheered up. It feels like a lot of pressure. Go kill the boss to vent your anger. In the wind and snow, a figure passed quickly without attracting anyone's attention. After all, there are too many loners like him. When the prophecy war god obtained the boss information, the defense manager quickly formulated a strategy. All top universities will notify all students below 200 level. Receive a level 60 level limiter for free, voluntarily go to the 7th floor of the Eternal Tower, and participate in the boss annihilation. Corresponding credits will be issued based on performance. The vast majority of people, immediately after receiving the notice, put aside their original plans to break through the level, received the level limiter, and rushed directly to the extreme cold village. If they can do something on the way to pass the Shura SSSS level, they will never refuse. This is what Ye Bai saw before. The extremely cold village that was supposed to be rarely visited suddenly became bustling with activity. Ye Bai's behavior seemed to them to be unusual. Just one of the many. Extremely cold cliff. The wind spirit is leaping. Feng Dong stretched out his staff and ended the long chant. In front of him, thousands of spiritual creatures transformed from the wind element scattered in all directions, looking for traces of the boss on the extreme cold cliff. The extreme cold cliff occupies a very large area. If you have to explore every cave, it will waste too much time. Time waits for no one. The longer the time drags on, the stronger the boss becomes and the more troublesome it becomes to deal with it. The wind spell that Feng Dong is good at is the best detection method in a windy and snowy environment. Here, the latest blue enhancing potion. Zhou Lingwei handed over a bottle of potion. Feng Dong raised his head and drank it in one gulp. His face immediately wrinkled and he screamed strangely. Bitter, so bitter. Is it bitter? In previous experiments on monkeys, they didn't say it was bitter. Fit put his ears against the stone wall, closed his eyes tightly, and there were some beads of sweat on his forehead. I heard, horrible heartbeat. His face turned pale, and just hearing the beating of his heart was a little unbearable. At this moment, Feng Dong made a new discovery. Found it? Feng Dong raised his staff and said, flying. Fly. With the blessing of flying skills, the three of them went straight to the cave where the boss was. In the cave, hundreds of people were dealing damage to a monster with an ugly face and a huge size, and the two sides were fighting fiercely. The strength of the monster far exceeds that of the players. Every attack can seriously injure many people and sweep across the area. Fortunately, the human players are very skilled in cooperating, and even a temporary team has strong basic qualities. The warriors hold on, the priests continue, the warlocks support, and the output of various long-range professions is maxed out. Even without a backbone to command, they were able to withstand the disadvantages and fight back and forth with the boss. Moreover, people from the human race are constantly coming to join the battle, and the balance of victory and defeat will soon completely tip to the human race. Yebai's figure appeared at the entrance of the cave. Looking at the Eye of Insight, Yebai could easily find the boss's hiding place. He glanced at the boss he was fighting. Fake is a good thing. The mobs derived from the final boss will be resurrected quickly even if they are killed. The final boss in the hidden cave must be killed before it will die completely. Those guys from the demon sect have very good brains, but it's a pity that they are used in crooked ways. Yebai looked towards a corner of the cave, where there was a hidden passage. The real boss is inside. As for the fake outside, it is used to confuse everyone and attract firepower. Exactly. I was worried that hiding in the crowd would make me too conspicuous. Yebai moved slowly, and from time to time used wind blade and other skills to scrape the boss. When he approached the corner, the hidden passage was triggered and his figure disappeared instantly. In the dark cave, a beam of fire lit up. Why are you lighting a fire, can't you see it? Night vision mode is activated. The fire went out. Yebai walked in the dark and long cave, getting closer and closer to the boss, and heard the sound of a strong heart beating in his ears. Dong. Dong. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 85. In the cave, Yebai moved forward slowly. The huge heartbeat echoed, giving people a great sense of oppression, as if they were under the sea of 10,000 meters, suffocating. Dong. Yebai checked his own status while moving forward. Ready to go, stacked. The forbidden magic disc, the forbidden curse axis. Yebai put the heavenly king's sword diagonally across his waist, covered it with his cloak, and transferred the power of nature to his left hand. It makes no difference whether you cast a spell with your left hand or your right hand. But when it comes to drawing a sword, Yebai is more accustomed to his right hand. Men always have preferences, and it is difficult to get equal exposure to rain and dew. When everything was ready, Yebai glanced at the distance indicator in the small right corner. Distance to the final boss 1142 meters. Very close. To be on the safe side, Yebai directly used the forbidden spell stored in the forbidden curse axis. The fire is never extinguished. 16 heart lamps are embedded in Yebai's body, which can resist fatal injuries. As long as the heart lamp is not completely extinguished, Yebai will not die. After getting ready, Yebai was ready to speed up. After such a long delay, boss should have noticed his arrival. It's just that the other party is still growing and can't spare any time to deal with Yebai. Fireball. A fireball flew out from the top of the force of nature at an extremely fast speed, and the flames on the soles of Yebai's feet pulsed with red light. Dance with fire. Jumping into the flames, Yebai's movements didn't stop at all. Windwalking slash. In the last short distance, he passed by, broke through an earth wall, and broke into the boss's cave. Roar. As soon as he broke into it, the boss let out a roar that made Yebai's eardrums hurt. And the true appearance of boss appeared in front of Yebai for the first time. A huge ice dragon skeleton was covered in ice from head to toe, with huge ice blocks embedded in the stone wall. The entire Arctic cliff is built on ice. Ice Dragon was supposed to be the boss of this level. He is dead now. Outside the ice, there is a huge aura full of evil and chaos, which is frantically absorbing power in an attempt to become stronger. Ice Dragon Soul, LV60, immune to physical damage. Current blood volume, can be killed. Yabai raised his eyebrows, is there such a good thing? The enemy cannot be stupid. In other words, after the Ice Dragon Soul in front of you is killed, there should be a second form. Die early and stack buff early. Yabai's staff tapped forward, and the familiar thunder fell. Boom. Under the red thunder and lightning, the Ice Dragon's soul seemed to be undergoing a catastrophe, being chopped to pieces and tender on the outside, and its soul was scattered. Yabai concentrated on all the changes around him and refused to let go of any details. This was the first time Yabai had seen a boss with 2 or even more levels of form. There is no room for carelessness. Really? The moment Yabai completely destroyed the Ice Dragon's soul, the Ice Dragon's body in the ice suddenly widened its eyes. Damn it, the corpse has changed. Yabai was very suspicious that he had picked up the wrong script for the tomb robber protagonist. This is a dragon, can it also turn into a rice dumpling? In the transparent ice, the Ice Dragon's eyes widened, its vertical pupils staring at Yabai, motionless. One person and one dead dragon, facing each other across the ice. The picture of the boss cave was turned into a projection and transmitted to several people. This group of people were the people from the demon cult who had previously conspired to create a boss, and they were paying close attention to the changes in the battle situation at this moment. The moment Yabai appeared, the 4 of them breathed tightly and realized a certain possibility. Shura is here. A voice said slightly appreciatively. Unexpectedly, Shura was the first to find the boss. Don't underestimate our clan's most powerful seeds. My clan? The things we have committed, are we worthy of being human? There is no harmony among these people. Of course, one person's attitude has always been clear. Are you really not recruiting people? If you are not the leader, you can also consider the deputy leader. This person is like brown sugar. Not only does he not pay attention to the battle situation, but he also promotes himself crazily. If any of your leaders dies, remember to contact me. Shut up. The host was obviously really angry. If you keep talking nonsense, I will turn off this projection directly. In his impression, Lian Liankan was a steady and sophisticated person, sinister and cunning, and he was definitely not the out-of-touch and unreliable person he looked like in front of him. It seems that Lian Liankan escaped the pursuit and paid a heavy price. After being reprimanded by the host, the man fell silent. Look, Shura is taking action. On the projection, Shura fired a thunderbolt that instantly killed the Ice Dragon's soul, leaving no trace behind. 3 war gods and 1 war king fell into deathly silence at the same time. Hiss. This child is so terrifying, we must not keep him. If you have the guts, I'm willing to support you with 100 God of War meritorious deeds. If you kill Shura, I'll burn paper for you every year. It doesn't matter whether we know Shura's true identity. The old monster in shadow is beside Shura. If the devil doesn't take action, who can kill him? God, I was so chatted to death. Xiao Xiao is the weakest in strength, but has the best mentality. If I knew Shura's true identity, the first thing I would do would be to hide far away. What are you doing to provoke such beings? Are you worried about your long life? Or have you forgotten the saying everything close to the strongest will suffer disaster? The atmosphere was somewhat solidified. The host stood up and said, "Don't panic, please wait and see what happens next. We have already considered Shura's explosive damage, so why don't we have a countermeasure? Pay attention to the ice wall." The eyes of several people fell on the ice wall. What's so special? This ice wall was generated by me with the help of eternal rules and linked to the soul of the ice dragon. The host said slightly proudly. In order to prevent the appearance of a mole, there is one thing I did not explain to you. This ice wall has only 100 HP and is immune to magic damage. As for its physical defense, it's 20% of the damage taken by the ice dragon soul. In other words, the higher the damage Shura can do to instantly kill the ice dragon soul, the higher the ice wall's defense will be. Shura's injury actually became an obstacle to his own progress. The host was extremely proud. If he were a dog, his tail would be raised to the sky. Killing the boss in the second form? There is no way. Surrounded by ultra-high defense ice walls, it can even trap Shura on the 7th floor for a long time. As long as the most powerful Xiaoyao doesn't take action, no one can break this ice wall. Based on Shura's previous damage, the ice wall's physical defense must have exceeded 100 million, or even billions. Wonderful! Several people laughed out loud and applauded this ingenious design. Hidden well, even we were deceived, and Shura is even less likely to know. Even if I were to deal with this ice wall, it would still be a bit tricky. Well done. Everyone was happy, but Xiao Xiao couldn't stand how happy these people were and poured cold water on them. Haha, I just remembered something. The rumored Heavenly King Sword has a strike that ignores defense. As soon as these words came out, everyone was furious. Impossible, absolutely impossible. The Heavenly King's sword was taken away by the most powerful Wuhan. It's absolutely true. The host smiled and said. Even if the Heavenly King's sword is really in the Eternal Forest and Xuemeng entered it back then, he still couldn't take away the Heavenly King's sword. Why should Shura do that? A mage. Take away the Heavenly King's sword, what a joke. The words have not yet fallen. On the projection, Shura took out a bronze sword from his arms and slashed it on the ice wall. An ice wall with super high physical defense. Click. Broken. Just like an ordinary ice wall, it shattered all over the ground, along with everyone's worldview. Everyone. Heavenly King Sword. How could Shura have the Heavenly King Sword? How can a mage be recognized by the Heavenly King Sword? For a moment, everyone felt like the world was spinning. Either you are crazy, or the world is crazy. The other two gods of war pointed their fingers at the person in charge and shouted almost at the same time. You said before that in order to prevent a mole, you designed the ice wall without telling others. You are the fucking mole. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 86. Ice Dragon Cave, Projection. When Shura took out the Heavenly King's sword, someone immediately exited the projection to watch and dropped a sentence. Don't look at it, it's all in vain. The mentality is broken, it belongs to yes. As a mage, Shura not only has super high burst damage, but also has the Heavenly King's sword, a weapon that reaches the god of war. In terms of output, it is difficult to find any weaknesses at all. Stacking objects to resist stacking magic resistance is not as practical as eating something good. Those left behind were no better off. One person lost his mind and murmured. We should have thought of it a long time ago. The existence of the strongest seed is not something we can understand at all. Shouldn't do this, shouldn't do this. The host Ren was unconvinced and extremely tough talking. Even if Shura has the Heavenly King's sword, it doesn't mean he can kill the Icebone Dragon alone. Wake up. Xiao Xiao was probably the happiest person on the scene, and said sarcastically. He even has the Heavenly King's sword, so he must have learned some physical skills. Shura was so impeccable in his work, how could he leave his magic weapon alone and only use basic attacks? Maybe the one in the Abyss Plane would be willing to teach him. The one from the Abyss Plane, the most powerful Wuhan. People in the demon cult have a habit of never mentioning the name of the most powerful person easily, even if it is just the eternal ID. The three most powerful men are the three mountains in their hearts, heavy, full of haze, and the deepest fear in their hearts. Just the thought of each other's presence made them breathless. On the contrary, people like Ye Bai and Zhao Lin would say it casually when chatting, and even regard one of them as their idol. What rubbish ice-bone dragon! Xiao Ziyao dismissed it. If you ask me, you just created an experience, baby. Underscore 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 underscore, refund the money. Are you worthy of us? Shut up. This time it was really urgent. The three fell into silence, each with their own thoughts in mind. And his eyes continued to look at the projection, waiting for Shura's next move. In the Ice Dragon Cave, Ye Bai easily broke the ice and faced the boss's second form. Icebone Dragon. Current form, only takes physical damage and ignores magic damage. HP, 50 million. It's a polar opposite right here. Ye Bai's cloak shook, and a vicious dog rushed out. The shadow of the three-headed dog of hell. Come on, try the enemy's strength. When encountering a powerful boss, you must have a clear idea. The best strategy is to send your subordinates to test the boss first. The Hell's three-headed dog is level 20 and the Icebone Dragon is level 60. It's not a big problem. Before charging, the three-headed Hell dog looked back at Ye Bai with a meaningful look. As if to say, I feel like you are better at being a dog. The three-headed Hell dog went up. Icebone Dragon, minus 156. Icebone Dragon is back. Hell dog, I'm gone. After images flew back into Ye Bai's cloak and could only be summoned again after 24 hours of rest. Ye Bai lost one of his generals. After the Icebone Dragon was enraged, it also let out a terrifying roar and slapped Ye Bai with its ice claws. The second half of its body was embedded in the stone wall and integrated with the entire cliff, making it impossible to move. Only the upper body can move and fight. Wind Fury. Stop the water flow. The Heavenly King's sword slashed out, and two bright red numbers appeared on the top of the Icebone Dragon's head. Minus 4670. Minus 4670. No treatment allowed. The Icebone Dragon's blood volume dropped a little, and it was unable to recover. Windwalking Slash. Ye Bai wasted no time and dodged the Icebone Dragon's attack. At the same time, he rushed to the opponent's side and slashed out with another sword. Minus 1195. In 1 second, Ye Bai caused tens of thousands of damage. The Icebone Dragon's bone claws kept waving, trying to catch Ye Bai, but failed repeatedly. After being resurrected as a bone dragon, it has various powerful abilities, but instead it lacks attack methods. Being immune to magic damage also means that dragon magic has no chance of it. Even if he breathed, he couldn't do it and could only chase Ye Bai's figure clumsily. Originally, the Icebone Dragon should face a strong melee fighter. If the opponent wants to kill the Icebone Dragon, they must continue their melee output. Once the output is interrupted, the Icebone Dragon can rely on its super high health to recover, and its health will be full instantly. As a result, it met senior brother Duan Shui Shui. Cutting off the flow of water with one move will make the ghosts in the tower worry. After more than 60 years, the bosses of the Eternal Tower finally recalled the fear of being dominated by the cut-off water flow. The fighting between the two sides was extremely fierce. Ye Bai battles wits with the Icebone Dragon, and the Icebone Dragon battles wits with the air. Ye Bai relied on cutting off the water flow, directly interrupting the Icebone Dragon's life recovery. At the same time, he relied on his displacement skills such as wind slash, dancing with fire, etc. to constantly avoid the Icebone Dragon's attacks. Even if he misses a few basic attacks, Ye Bai's high health value and the blessing effect of the immortal fire can keep him safe. The blood volume also quickly returned to full blood with the blessing of healing potions and scrolls. Wind Fury. Stop the water flow. Windwalking Slash. Ye Bai transformed into a wind warrior and began to enjoy happiness. Wind fury is superimposed to cut off the water flow, interspersed with wind slash, and even a Yebai's output per minute is around hundreds of thousands, and he can deal tens of millions of damage in an hour. The Icebone Dragon only has 50 million blood, and every time it loses blood, it cannot be recovered. One side was nearly unscathed, but the other side's health was being worn away and eaten away bit by bit. The balance of victory and defeat slowly tilted towards Yebai. Winning the final victory is only a matter of time. Outside the cave, talented students from major schools are still mingling with the boss. This boss is really difficult to deal with. He is killed and resurrected every time. Brothers, work harder. I'll treat you to the wolf lair tonight. Which bastard cast a hypnotic spell to hypnotize all the priests? Zoe's spirit machine was not idle either. She set up a giant cannon and kept bombarding the boss. Under the siege of everyone, the boss fell again. According to past experience, it won't be long before it will be resurrected with full health. This battle has lasted for more than 4 hours, and everyone has experience. Feng Dong and Feet broke away from the battle and returned to the rear to rest. Something's not right. Feng Dong wiped his sweat and rubbed his sore shoulders. I have never seen such a boss, it is impossible to kill. Indeed, there may be some fatal conditions, and we have already sent people to find them. There was no fool present, after discovering something strange about the boss. Everyone searched around the extreme cold cliff again to see if any details had been missed. Fit, who had been silent, suddenly spoke. The sound is wrong. What sounds wrong? Heartbeat. Previously, on the mountain wall of the extremely cold cliff, Feet had heard the terrifying heartbeat. He is a heavily armored warrior, the type who was fooled by Mother Earth. Fit and Stone have a very good relationship, as close as brothers. It is precisely because of this that he usually doesn't talk much. The more he focuses on fighting, the less he talks. You mean, we found the wrong boss? Zoe's spirit machine frowned, his eyes full of worry. Feng Dong nodded, it is indeed possible, silly guy, can you listen to the sound again? Feet once again put his ear against the stone wall, but immediately broke away. Cold. The stone wall is extremely cold, and there may be some terrifying ice-based monsters beneath the ground. Feet had a straight face and a heavy heart. If what I felt was the boss, then the opponent's strength would be too terrifying. Cold? It seems we really found the wrong person. The left spiritual weapon jumped down from the heavy cannon. I'll go and inform them. Feet, you take Feng Dong and continue searching to find the source of the heartbeat. Good. The three of them split up. Feet walked around looking for traces, and Feng Dong stayed with him. The two of them stood in front of an inconspicuous stone wall. Fit stretched out his hand, but before they even touched the stone wall, a suction force swallowed them up. Not long after, Zhou Lingwei came looking for him with his men. Feng Dong. Fit. In the cave, the two people were no longer around. Submission, failed. Can't contact the two of them. Try to find. Zhou Lingmao is very sure. Leave a small group of people to hold back the boss, while the rest look for Feng Dong and Feet. They may have broken into the real boss cave. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 87. Ice Dragon Cave. After more than 4 hours of fierce fighting, the boss's health finally bottomed out. Wind Fury. Stop the water flow. The two slashes fell almost at the same time, clearing out the last of the ice dragon's health. Boom. The Icebone Dragon's dying struggle shattered the surrounding stone walls, causing the entire cave to shake crazily. Yabai jumped up, like a dragonfly touching water, avoiding all the stones, keeping a distance from the Icebone Dragon, thinking secretly in his heart. Since it can have a dual form, who knows if there is a third form? I know. Have. The ice-bone dragon in front of Yebai began to change drastically. The two huge eye sockets on the skull originally lit up with two rays of obscure soul fire. At this moment, it turned into green flames, floating out of the skull, exuding an evil aura and conveying strange emotions. Anger, destruction. Yebai raised his eyebrows, looking at the scene in front of him. He seemed to have thought of something. The fourth demon god, the angry demon god of destruction. The totem of the fourth demon sect is the green torch. These guys are really crazy to stop me. Yebai still has 10 heart lamps on his body and the guardian angel buff, so his life is not worried for the time being. As for the third form of boss, wait until Yebai sees it with his own eyes before he considers whether to fight or retreat. Ice Dragon Cave, Projection. There are 3 remaining members of the demon cult. Seeing the emergence of the third form of boss, one person's expression finally softened a bit, and he sighed. Fortunately, I invested more in the origin of the devil, otherwise I would have lost so miserably this time. Boss also has a third form, which is an unexpected surprise. The host was extremely silent, rarely saying a word. Xiao Ziao still maintained an optimistic attitude and was even in the mood to joke. Brother, are you still on guard? It doesn't matter how big it is, keep an eye on it, you don't have long to live anyway. The host's voice trembled slightly. I didn't set a third form for boss. What? Can you say that again? The host repeated numbly and mechanically. I said, I didn't set a third form for boss. The hearts of the 3 of them all sank, and they all thought of a certain possibility. Boss, has been tampered with. The study of eternal rules. If that person claims to be second, no one would dare to claim to be first. In front of the god of war, he could do anything to the boss without being noticed, and was not discovered until the last moment. Only one person can do it, the strongest Xiaoyao. Didn't you say that he is in retreat? The old man even broke his voice directly, revealing a bit of his real voice. Xiao Xiao was delighted, so it's you. Do you know me? I don't know you, but I know you are already dead, RIP. Xiao Ziao was the only person in the venue who could barely maintain his composure. This is a fishing trip, and we only catch fish as stupid as you. I'm joking, Lian Liankan, how can you be so good? Nowadays, you are neither human nor ghost, you are nothing more than a waste. I was stupid enough to take the bait, why didn't you take the bait? The old man's attitude was very clear. If this is a well-arranged game, please enter the urn. No one present can escape. You are still not convinced that you are stupid, so you have to ask a top student to give you a lecture. Xiao Ziao snorted coldly and said disdainfully. When you created the boss before, you took out the origin of the devil, right? So what, you've done it too, haven't you? You've done it the most. Idiot, today is different from the past. That thing is not a talisman, but a life-saving talisman. Xiao Ziao scolded the old man awake with just one word. If the origin of the demon god falls into the hands of the most powerful person, we can completely rely on the origin to locate these traitors. I did give out the most, but I didn't have any left, so how could he find me? On the contrary, you guys are hiding it and still have some inventory in your hands. Isn't that looking for death? Xiao Ziao even opened a bottle of champagne. I told you before, luck is on my side. Sometimes, losing all the chips in your hand is also a kind of luck. Even so. The old man was particularly unconvinced and spoke harshly again. In such a short period of time, as long as no powerful person takes action, I can still escape from the abyss. The cunning rabbit still has 3 burrows. They, who are not human beings, are always thinking about how to escape if their identities are exposed. The old man's real body is on the front line at this time, and he has many arrangements. The strongest will never take action easily. This involves some kind of agreement between the strongest and the abyssal plane. As long as you react quickly enough, you can escape in time. Really? Xiao Ziao added a bottle of Sprite to the champagne and drank it all in one gulp. Have you ever been knifed by a shadow? Brush, with one strike, not only will you be killed, but Shuemen next to you will also be almost killed. This power, sizzles, and even the soul is dimmed, as if wiped from the world. Xiao Ziao's face turned slightly pale when he recalled it, but he was still frightened. If you don't believe it, you can contact the god of war who left first, the leader of the third demon cult, right? He should be dead, the body is not cold yet. Sorry, I forgot, the monster in the shadow will not leave a body when it attacks. When creating boss, a total of 4 people contributed, namely the first, third, sixth, and fourth leaders. Among them, the leader of the third demon sect was the first to have a mental breakdown and took the first step. It seems like it went pretty fast now. I guess I have already reached Nahi Bridge and will be queuing up to drink Mengpo soup. The leader of the sixth demon cult tried to contact the other party through a message, but his face darkened again. Lost in the sea, no news at all. It's over, it's really over this time. Frankly speaking, the strategy laid out by the most powerful person this time was not very clever. Mainly because some people are afraid that they are living in a dream and have led us into the ditch together. After finishing speaking, Xiao Ziao glanced at the host, the leader of the first demon sect. I guess you must think that you are the famous person next to you, and you have hidden it very well these years, right? With these words, the leader of the first demon sect was in a trance again and was speechless for a moment. All right. Xiao Ziao snorted coldly. Idiot, that guy was already famous as a soul warlock before he even rose to prominence. Later, he even worshipped the monster in the shadow as his teacher, the one who had attainments in the soul system. The two masters and disciples had tricked countless people back then. There was a time when the demon sect was completely eradicated. You young people, don't you know how to ask around before you go out to hang out? Xiao Ziao casually revealed a few past events. In a few words, the outline of the entire game is clearly outlined. After the true identity of the leader of the first demon sect was exposed, he was controlled by the most powerful Xiaoao, and he didn't realize he was a guest in his dream. What he thought was just what he thought. Under the control of the most powerful person Xiaoao, he summoned people from the demon cult, relied on intelligence to gain trust, collected the origin of the demon god, and created monsters to stop Shura. Everything seemed smooth and normal. The real purpose is to lure the snake out of its hole. As long as we get to know the origin of the devil and trace it back to its source, we can find these traitors. In the end, Yingzhu took action and defeated them one by one, leaving no one behind. Lian Liankan, don't be complacent. Even if we die, you won't be much better. The leader of the sixth demon cult gritted his teeth and said. There is danger outside, so is the eternal tower safe. Since that person is not in seclusion, and every move we make is under his nose, do you really think you can live alone? Before he finished speaking, the sound of drumming suddenly sounded in his ears. It was a sound he had never heard before. It seemed to fall on the soul and instantly shatter it. This is. The eyes of the leader of the sixth demon cult were distracted, and a layer of deathly silence fell over his entire body. Starting from his legs, he turned into ashes and dissipated little by little. The leader of the first demon sect also looks like this. Morning bells and evening drums. Xiao Ziao took out a box of fireworks from nowhere, grabbed some ashes from the air, stuffed them into the fireworks, and lit them. Finally, let me make it clear to you. The one who took away the morning bell and evening drum from the eternal forest. If you can hear the dusk drum in this life, you are lucky. Don't be so lucky in the next life. Boom. Fireworks exploded overhead, flying freely along with the ashes of the two demon sects. Only Xiao Xiao looked at this grand performance, bowed slightly and saluted. Thank you to the strongest man for not killing me. If there's nothing else, I'll leave first. I will never come to this eternal tower again. After saying that, Xiao Xiao's figure disappeared from the place. Back to Blue Star. Summer Camp Special Training Camp, Area A, Teacher's Dormitory. Xiao Xiao poured himself a cup of cappuccino and walked to the window, with the remaining smile still hanging on his lips. The strongest have a date with the abyss. At the God of War level, both parties cannot take action at will. The actions of the previous few people have already offended that person, and being killed by Mugu is not an injustice. As for those below the War King level, the top combat power of both sides cannot take action. This agreement was originally to protect the smooth growth of geniuses from all races. The human race, in particular, has been waiting for new powerful seeds to appear. Now, this agreement has become Xiao Xiao's life-saving talisman. This is also the reason why he had no scruples and acted recklessly before. No matter how hard you try, you won't die. Are you angry? Looking at the eternal forest immersed in darkness, Xiao Xiao slowly tasted the cappuccino. I told you before, the goddess of luck is very happy with me. After saying that, Xiao Xiao finally couldn't suppress the fear in his heart, and his whole body began to tremble, and the coffee cup in his hand fell down, leaving a mess on the ground. Xiao's eyes once fell on his shoulders. That was the moment he was closest to death. I don't know why the other party didn't choose to kill him. Even with just one glance, Xiao Xiao was shrouded in endless fear, almost to the point of splitting his liver and gallbladder. It took him more than 10 minutes to barely return to normal. Then, changed into a pair of pants. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 88. Ice Dragon Cave. When Yabai kills the Icebone Dragon, the boss enters the third stage and changes occur again. In the green soul fire, one eye revealed its true appearance, and the black light came straight towards Yabai. Between the lightning and flint, Yabai could not escape. He will die. He will definitely die after being hit. Neither Eternal Fire nor the Guardian Angel could save Yabai. In an instant, Yabai's intuition told him that he was doomed. GG. Bastard, you caught my eye. Dong. The melodious bells echoed in the small cave. The sound of the bell sounds familiar. After the bell rang, a dark yellow light shield appeared in front of Yabai, and he hit the black light head-on. Boom. The mask shook violently, countless cracks appeared, and it was on the verge of collapse. This is the bell I heard in the Eternal Forest yesterday. It was this bell that sent the Heavenly King's sword to Yabai's arms. As we all know, sound is a sound wave produced by the vibration of an object. Storing vibrations in objects and releasing them at the right time can produce unexpected effects. For example, save a life. This is very scientific. The eyes in green flames failed to succeed and did not continue to pursue. Instead, he stared at Yabai through the light shield, his eyes locked on Yabai. Without speaking, a voice sounded in Yabai's ears. I saw you. Boom. Drums sound. The green flame continued to shrink, and the eyes disappeared into it. Yabai slowly exhaled a long breath, his forehead was covered with small beads of sweat, and his whole body seemed to be dehydrated. Looking into the eyes of the devil, even for just one glance, and even under the protection of the most powerful Xiaoao, Yabai was under tremendous pressure. Need to change into a pair of pants? Not yet. Yabai laughed dumbly. Who would be so scared that they need to change their pants? That would be too embarrassing. However, the demon's oppression is much stronger than I imagined. This is still the Eternal Tower, and the other party can only affect 1/10,000th of it. After the Eternal Tower, Xiaoao, and double weakening, He almost killed Ye just by looking at it. Although death can be resurrected in the Eternal Tower. But this matter is already exaggerated enough. The eye of the demon god disappeared and the crisis was resolved. The whole thing took less than 30 seconds. Without the eye of the demon god, the third form of the boss is very weak, even the shadow of the three-headed dog of hell can be easily killed. As soon as the thunder struck, Ye sent it back to his happy hometown. After completing the kill of the third form of the boss, Ye glanced at the exploration level. Exploration degree, 100%. Is this considered cheating? Before coming, Ye had read the strategy for the 7th floor. Killing the boss will only provide 40% exploration, and you also need to complete tedious tasks, map exploration, etc. Now, Ye single-handedly defeated the boss that shouldn't exist, and his exploration level increased to 100% in one go. Apparently someone was behind it. Regarding this kind of buggy behavior, Ye, who is an upright person, only wants to say 4 words. Well done. If you must add 4 words. Continue next time. Let's settle. Nearly 5 hours of fighting, and a confrontation with the devil. Ye endured too much both mentally and physically. At this time, he already had some suspicions in his mind, and he was probably involved in some conspiracy. It must be related to Xiao, even Master Ju is involved. Yesterday, before Ye entered the Eternal Tower, Xiao stored the sound of the morning bell in the Heavenly King's sword and saved Ye at the critical moment. If you say this wasn't planned, Ye doesn't believe it. Looking back now, even the process of killing the boss was a bit too simple. Ye put these thoughts aside for the time being. If he had anything to ask, he could just ask Master Ju directly. Otherwise, Ye could detect the outline with his insightful eyes. Finish today's mission first. If you don't clear the SSSS level for one day, you will feel uncomfortable all over. Ye summoned the Eternal Core and put his palm on it. Setting out customs clearance rewards. The next second, all the humans wandering around the Eternal Tower heard a familiar announcement at the same time. Congratulations to the player Shura for reaching the 7th SSSS level evaluation. 7 hits in a row. Shura again. I got 7 SSSS ratings in 4 days. Brushing the SSSS grade on your behalf, full refund if failed. Everyone burst into endless cheers. SSSS level ratings are something that I've seen too many times and it's still great. In the ocean of joy, the Eternal Tower announced the SSSS grade rewards this time. Player Shura SSSS clears the 7th floor and will be rewarded with the human buff will of 7 in the Eternal Tower. Limited time buff comprehensive improvement, all attributes of the Eternal Tower human race add 43.96%, limited time 7 hours. Limited time buff Star of Tomorrow, Eternal Tower human race can use equipment higher than level 7, limited to 7 hours. Limited time buff Triumphal Master, all gains gained by the Eternal Tower humans after defeating the enemy will be add 7%, limited to 7 hours. Will of 7, the 7th cast/attack, the effect is increased by 77.77%. It will be counted again after taking effect. It is limited to 7 hours. 4 buffs, one stronger than the other. The comprehensively improved attributes actually increased to 43.96%, far exceeding before. Tomorrow's master uses higher level equipment to make the human race even more powerful, and many problems can be easily solved. Sometimes, a good piece of equipment can completely bridge the technical gap. The top rich second generation can become the best in the world by spending money in the game, and can even achieve a 100% winning rate. As for Triumphal Master, all gains are at 7%. It seems that the ratio of 7% is very low and not worth mentioning. However, the weight of the word all exceeds everything. Experience, gold coins, equipment, materials. All increased by 7%. Just imagine how happy it would be to add 7% to your salary slip. Certainly. The strongest among all buffs is 7's will. The 7th casting/attack directly increases the effect by 77.77%, which is equivalent to casting a spell/attack for free. With these 4 buffs, changing jobs in secret realms and single-player dungeons is no longer a problem. Yabai put away the introduction of the 4 buffs. It's okay, keep up the good work. After being humble, Yabai glanced at his harvest before the personal rewards from the Eternal Tower were distributed. After killing the 3rd stage boss, Yabai directly raised his level to 60, which required the 2nd level. Eternal ID, Shura. Talent, Eye of Insight, SSS level. Level, 60. Occupation, Skywrath Mage, Wind, Fire, Thunder. HP, 21800/21800. MP 28600/28600. Strength, 715, add 800. Intelligence, 1567, add 360. Spirit, 1531, add 290. Agility, 666, add 246. Constitution, 601, add 500. Luck, 12. Equipment, Power of Nature, add 3, Nightmare Shadow, Flame Rhythm Leap, Heavenly King Sword. Skills, Ready to Go, Sky Thunder, Wind Slash, Wind Fury, Ignite, Cut Off Water Flow, etc. Status, Thunder Affinity, Thunder Specialization, Fire Specialization, Wind Specialization. Due to the blessing of the Heavenly King Sword and Nightmare Shadow, Yabai has a higher bonus in terms of strength and physical attributes. Among the 5-dimensional basic attributes, Yabai has 4 items that exceed 1000, and his intelligence attribute is even close to 2000. Among warriors, this is also extremely rare. Because of killing the boss, Yabai unlocked the 3rd advancement of the Power of Nature. Equipment, Power of Nature, leave 60. Grade, S level. Ability Power, 980. Attributes, Intelligence add 360, Spirit add 290. Entry. Scourge the staff holder's lightning damage add 25%, the lightning damage received add 0.5%, and the shield/healing provided by wood skills add 30%. Twins. When releasing thunder skills, there is a 10% probability of releasing wood skills at the same time, and vice versa. Thunderstorm. When releasing thunder skills, there is a 1% chance of causing double damage. Not Afraid of Power deals an additional 15% thunder damage to enemies whose level is higher than that of the holder. Alternating between virtual and real, the staff holder obtains a buff, reducing physical damage by 20%/magic damage by 20%. This state switches every 30 seconds. Advanced entries. Job change, the staff holder completes the 2nd job change. Number of upgrades available, 9. Number of times advanced, 3. In addition to other entries that have been strengthened to varying degrees, Yabai also plundered a new entry from the Ice Dragon alternation of virtual and real. Although, the immune damage type switches every 30 seconds and cannot exist at the same time. But for Yabai, it was enough. What a life-saving entry! Now Yabai had just escaped from the Devil's Eyes, and his awareness of life-saving had risen to a higher level. Alternating virtual and real at present, it can only reduce 20% of the damage, but as the Power of Nature continues to advance, the reduction ratio will increase. For Yabai, it was perfect. Putting away the attribute panel and the force of nature, Yabai still didn't wait for the personal reward from the Eternal Tower. There will also be delays due to card bugs. In any case, Yabai's harvest from this trip has been abundant enough, and the rewards from the Eternal Tower will not be less. A white light flashed, and he returned to the Eternal Core City first. Wolf Den. Master Zhao will pay for this round of consumption. Obviously, someone had a great harvest today and treated everyone to a round of drinks. Ye Bai casually picked up 2 bottles of wine and walked towards the office deep in the wolf lair. Fourth brother, wait. Diamond caught up and reminded, free order only, free 1 bottle. I helped Xuemeng get it, can't I? Okay, that's okay. With his back to Diamond, Ye Bai raised his head and drank as he walked. When I walked to the door, I had just finished 2 bottles of wine. Ye Bai looked back and saw that what a coincidence, Diamond was still following behind. Put the bottle away, please. Ye Bai placed 2 empty bottles in front of Diamond, then pushed the door open and entered. Butterfly dream. She looked at the 2 empty bottles and couldn't help but doubt life. Fourth brother's confident words still echoed in my ears. I helped Xuemeng get it? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 89. Wolf's Lair, Xuemeng's office. Ye Bai pushed the door open and walked in. Xuemeng looked out from his desk and asked doubtfully. Is there someone else treating you outside? Ye Bai closed the door tightly and said seriously. Let's talk about business, don't worry about drinking. Hiccup. Sitting opposite Xuemeng, Ye Beifeng said lightly. I said hello to the 4th demon god before I came here, so I got to know him a bit. Xuemeng. Being able to escape alive from the 4th demon god, sure has something. Xuemeng sighed. Awesome, the 4th demon is called the Angry Demon of Annihilation. Few people know that his true form is actually a magic eye. Even if the god of war is stared at, he will die. Magic eye? Hearing these 2 words, Ye Bai's eyelids jumped. Does it have anything to do with yourself? Ye Bai's awakened SSS level talent Eye of Insight happens to be an eye too. If the timeline is extended, reorganize all the clues. Shura appears. That night, the strong men of the human race made a powerful move and destroyed the 4th demon sect's main altar, injuring Lian Liankan seriously. Judging from the information Ye Bai currently has, the overall strength of the human race may still be far behind that of the Abyss. But if you want to kill a god of war, especially the god of war in Blue Star, it is not easy. Xuemeng was all the fault of Master Zhu, so could that be a big deal? In other words, the purpose of letting Lian look for a way out is to lure out the 4th demon god? Thinking along this line of thinking, this time the projection of the 4th demon god appears, which is also part of the plan. No matter what the strongest ones are planning, the final spearhead will definitely point to the same target, the 4th demon god. And the 4th demon god's body is a demon eye? Is this to eliminate threats for me? Ye Bai had too few clues, and the Eye of Insight couldn't reveal much information about things involving demons and powerful people. In any case, everything that happened tonight can only be regarded as an appetizer at best. A new storm has emerged. Ye Bai had a hunch that he might even directly face the threat of the 4th demon in the near future. We still need to become stronger as soon as possible. Seeing that the atmosphere was a bit solemn, Xuemeng changed the subject and said. Did you know that after the 3, 4, 5, and 6 floors of the Eternal Tower are reset, the previous background story is gone? Nowadays, players will even be helped by miners before setting off, the difficulty is greatly reduced, and there are markers along the way. Good. Ye Bai nodded and calculated the time. Zhaolin and Lu Sueki should both be on the 3rd floor today. The reduction in difficulty is definitely a good thing for Zhaolin. By the way, you said before that water is the source of life. A player accidentally discovered that the pure water taken away from the 3rd floor turned into the source of life. It has super healing effects and has gone viral. Oh, What did you say? Ye Bai suddenly came to his senses, the pure water turned into the source of life. So this is what this sentence means. Xuemeng repeated what he said before and shook his head. Unfortunately, the water must have been brought out before yesterday, and there is no such good thing in the mine today. After the news was released, nearly 5L source of life appeared on the market. It is estimated that the entire human race will not exceed 10L. No one will exclusively keep this thing. He counted on his fingers. 1 ml is 20 drops, 1 L water is 20,000 drops, 200,000 drops of the source of life. The stuff is good stuff, but unfortunately there are too few. Compared with the entire human race, the number 200,000 is too small. Naturally, the more of these healing holy objects, the better. After nearly 100 years of bloody battles, countless people in the human race have been disabled or retired from the front line due to injuries. There are even special departments to provide re-employment services for these people. Some injuries are difficult for even a god of war priest to deal with. Although it can save people and lead a worry-free life, it looks normal. But his combat power was greatly reduced, and he had no chance to return to the battlefield. Source of life perfectly solves this problem. It can repair hidden diseases, remove pollution from the abyss, and make flesh out of bones. It is an essential medicine for traveling at home and traveling around the world. Oh, you said the source of life. Ye Bai said casually, I only have less than 15L here. It's really not much, what did you say? Xuemeng stood up quickly after brushing his hands. 15L. Yes, 15L. Xuemeng's eyes instantly turned red, like a hungry wolf encountering a piece of fat meat, and his whole body was extremely excited. Boy, give me a price. How much can you sell? The wolf's nest will be all for you. The source of life. 1 drop can completely restore people below level 200 from their injuries. 5 drops can cure a warrior's chronic ailments. 100 drops can give the human race one more war king. In addition to curing those older generations with stubborn illnesses, the source of life is also a weapon in the fight. Just imagine. The war king of the human race and the war king of the demon race fought fiercely, and the two sides fought to the bitter end. The human war king took out a bottle of the source of life, resurrected with full blood, and killed directly. The value of this thing far exceeds ordinary therapeutic products. Ye Bai calculated it and realized that the source of life was really powerful. He could not drink so much by himself. Selling 60 million gold coins first. Pay off the debt you owe first. The latest price of the source of life is 200,000 gold coins per drop. Xuemeng took out the transaction records of the trading secret realm and placed them in front of Ye Bai. 1 drop of 200,000 gold coins is 200 million dragon coins. This price is no longer low. Generally, if a person below level 200 is injured, even if he asks the king of war to treat him, it will not cost such a high price. If you want to heal a war king, you need at least 100 drops of the source of life and 20 million gold coins, which is 20 billion dragon coins. If the injury is serious, it is normal to spend 300 or 500 drops. A peak warrior might not necessarily have that much cash on hand. If he wanted to use the source of life to treat his injuries, the ordinary war king would probably have to drain all his wealth. Even so, they are willing to do so. Because before the source of life appeared, they didn't even have this slim chance. Xuemeng immediately decided. Based on the price of 250,000 gold coins, we will charge you whatever you are willing to sell. For 250,000 gold coins per drop, Ye Bai only needs to sell 240 drops to pay off the debt of the three-headed hell dog. 240 drops, 12 ml, deal. A small test tube of the source of life was handed into Xuemeng's hands. After accepting it, he immediately lit up the screen, and an introduction picture appeared on the screen. These are abyss monsters that can produce SSS level materials. Tianyun Tiger, God of War. Xuemeng introduced several monsters in succession, and he was exhausted talking about them. You see what you need, and I will arrange for them to be killed. Shuro lacks SSS level materials, and the human race lacks the source of life. Both sides get what they need. No one was harmed in this transaction. Abyss monster, just be a human being, please. I want them all. Yabai ordered the materials for 15 different types of abyss monsters in one breath. If these are not enough to fix Nightmare Shadow, more will be added later. 15 abyss monsters, each with 100 million gold coins, which is 400 drops of the source of life, a total of 6,000 drops. 6,000 drops, 300 ml, less than half a liter. Yabai readily paid the full amount, and Xuemeng immediately patted his chest and promised. After today, I will personally go into battle to help you collect all these materials. Yabai smiled. The source of life can take effect against the king of battle. As for the god of war, if an ordinary god of war is seriously injured, the human race will treat it at all costs. If there is no way to cure it, the source of life will be useless. Every piece of war god level combat power is extremely precious. At the level of god of war and god of war, the effect of the source of life is already very weak. Yabai traded 6,240 drops of the source of life, which could restore the combat power of up to 62 war kings for the human race. This number is very impressive. What's more, Yabai still has more than 10 liters of the source of life in his hand. I have an idea. Yabai spoke his thoughts slowly. For the seniors who were injured in the abyss battlefield and the followers of the demon sect who were encircled and suppressed, the price can be lower, and I will pay for it. Xuemeng was slightly startled, not expecting that Shuro would take the initiative to propose such an approach. Yabai continued. To put it mildly, they have regained their strength and rushed to the front-line battlefield, which is also a kind of protection for me. Before I had the strength of God of War, I really needed this kind of protection, and it could be considered an investment. If there were one more God of War among these seniors, I would be able to sleep more peacefully, right? Xuemeng was silent for a moment. In fact, both people present knew very well that what Shura said was just an excuse. With Yingju beside Shura, there is no difference between having one more war king and one less war king. It makes no difference to Shura. Xuemeng spoke again. It's okay, that's okay. How much discount do you plan to sell it at? Xuemeng tentatively reported a number. 50% off. You know, the source of life in Shura's hands is very large. If it is 50% off, the money Shura will lose will be sky high. 50% off is already a big concession. Yabai shook his head. Xuemeng's breathing became heavier. 30%. If the price is reduced by 30%, the price that those former war kings need to pay to regain their strength is not high, and they can still leave some good equipment for themselves. Yabai shook his head again. Xuemeng took a deep breath, his voice trembled slightly. One discount. This is already the limit of what Xuemeng can imagine. With a 10% discount, you only need at least 2 billion to cure a war king, which is extremely cost-effective. Yabai expressed his inner plan. Let's see, it's just a case of being injured on the job. If someone in the clan leaves their name on the memorial tablet, they will receive a 50% discount on top of the 10% discount. Those who have left their names on the memorial tablet are free of charge. He has been to the depths of the eternal forest and seen the death stone. Yabai knew very well what his ancestors had paid for this tranquility and peace. The hero cannot be allowed to bleed and shed tears. Many people enter death wish camps without asking for anything in return. But that doesn't mean you don't have to give back. Hearing Yabai's final plan, Xuemeng fell into silence again. After a while, he pressed a button on his desk, and a microphone slowly rose. Xuemeng's voice was slightly hoarse, and could even be said to be choked. He tried to control his tone and said as calmly as possible. Move the wine cellar out of the wolf's den. Tonight, I'm treating you. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 90. Eternal Core City. Combat Strength Test Hall. The wolf's den is not far away, and it is particularly lively tonight, with cheers constantly coming out. Director Wu stood at the door of the office with a cigarette in his mouth and shouted. Xiao Yu, come here. The busy bald manager quickly put down his work and. Director, what's the matter? Could it be that genius is here again? Come in and chat. Entering the director's office, the bald manager was startled. Director, have you been robbed? The office is empty, and the treasures that used to be everywhere have been swept away. Before Director Wu retired from the front line, he was also a strong man in the realm of the King of War. However, he was unable to recover from his hidden injuries and his strength dropped drastically. In this office, the materials of the three demon war kings were originally stored, which are not only valuable, but also have special commemorative significance. Director Wu brags to everyone about how he saved Lu Qingjian, a little brat, with 1 against 3. Wuzuki deserves at least 2/3 of the credit for Lu Qingjian's peak battle today. This is too little to say. You said those materials, I even sold them in the trading secret realm. Director Wu continued his cigarette and said calmly. Today, a healing holy object called Source of Life appeared in the trading secret realm. It should be able to cure my hidden disease, but the price is a bit expensive. The bald manager couldn't help but swallow. A strong man who was once the King of War felt that it was a bit expensive. How expensive would that be? Director, is this reliable? The bald manager asked cautiously. Do you want to download the human anti-fraud app first? If you dare to mention what happened last time again, I will send you to dig rocks in the abyss. Director Wu blew out a smoke ring and said angrily. He once wanted to cure his injury, but was deceived by several people, and the coffin was almost lost. Fortunately, Xing Fang always has zero tolerance for this kind of scam. With the power of thunder, he punches hard. Not only did they crack the nest case, but they also destroyed a demon sect branch. Wuzuki's losses were also fully recovered. Director Wu looked serious and said seriously. This time is really different. An old friend of mine has relied on the Source of Life to regain his fighting strength, and even broke through the first floor of the Eternal Tower. After hearing this, the bald manager realized that it might be true. That's a good thing. The bald manager immediately asked, Director, why are you looking for me? Oh, look, I was so happy that I forgot about the real thing. Director Wu took out a piece of paper with various formulas written on it. I've done the math, and I've almost collected enough money. I've sold all the materials, the bounty from the death camp, the original compensation for injury and retirement, and I'll get another severance compensation after I resign. Resign? The bald director screamed, Boss, why did you resign? With someone like Wuzuki, even if he resigns, he will receive a large amount of compensation. It's just that he has been working in the Defense Department for decades and suddenly wants to resign. The bald manager is emotionally unacceptable. Be quiet, I'm still figuring it out. Director Wu wrote and drew on the paper and said casually. The Source of Life is a good thing, but it's too expensive. My old friends don't have any rice in their pots, so where can I collect money? But there's no need to resign. The bald manager had a wrinkled face, like an old bitter gourd, the fat one. Boss, if you resign, even if you regain the strength of the War King, your merits in the Legion will have to be calculated again. I can't worry about that anymore. Let me tell you, this thing is in demand and will be gone if it's too late. Director Wu is very resolute and full of action. My resignation report has been sent. As soon as I get the money, I will go to the trading secret realm to pay. Don't you have a trading secret realm pass? Lend it to me. The bald manager was stunned again. Okay, boss, where's yours? Sold. Wuzuki said it calmly. In order to buy the source of life, he sold everything he could. If you want this pack of cigarettes, I still have 15 cigarettes. I'll sell them to you for 680. With that said, Director Wu threw half a pack of cigarettes to the bald manager. From now on, he quits smoking. Even if he gets to this point, the money he collects is only enough to buy 100 drops of the source of life. Director Wu himself was not sure whether he could be completely cured. Dong dong dong. There was a knock on the office door. Please come in. A young man wearing a lone wolf mask walked in, looking ordinary. His voice was warm and magnetic, and he asked. Excuse me, is this the office of Wuzuki, the former left deputy commander of the Sky-Fire Legion? I am. What's the matter? There is a letter from the wolf nest. Please show me your merit card. The young man first showed a token of the god of war, and then took out an instrument, obviously to verify Wuzuki's identity. Oh, senior citizen card. Can we get down to business now? Wuzuki frowned. Could it be that he wanted to summon the injured and retired people to return to the front line of the abyss? If this is the case, the situation on the front line is not optimistic. That's right, because you once left your name on the death monument. If you are willing to return to the front line, you can receive a source of life for free to treat hidden diseases. Free. Director Wu stood up in a flash, staring at the young man with his eyes. Boss, calm down and be careful of scams. The bald manager stopped in front of Director Wu and asked cautiously, should we ask for a deposit or something? This is the notification document just signed by Wolf Nest, and the Ministry of Defense will soon issue the document officially. The young man handed over a piece of paper, and the notice written on it was exactly the same as what he said before. At the end of the document, there was a signed name, Xuemeng. It is also stamped with the seal, number, and seal of the Order of the Lone Wolf. Everything you need is available. This is real. Director Wu's hand holding the cigarette trembled slightly, a little unbelievable. Happiness comes too suddenly. The young man handed over another document. You only need to sign here to receive 156 drops of the source of life, which is enough to cure your hidden disease. After you rest for a period of time, you will be able to restore your fighting power to the level of a war king. Director Wu quickly signed his name without thinking. Even if it is a life and death contract, he will sign it without hesitation, as long as he is given a chance to return to the battlefield. A small tube of the source of life. It was like a dream, miraculously appearing in front of the two of them. Director Wu took the test tube and drank it in one gulp, feeling the surging life energy being released in his body, healing all injuries. This. The old man, who was over 50 years old, was dancing for a while, unable to express his joy in words. If nothing's wrong, say goodbye. The young man bowed slightly and turned to leave. Etc. Director Wu hurriedly called to him, can I ask, where do these sources of life come from? Such a big deal, even if the defense manager has deep pockets, it is impossible to distribute it for free. Most of the time someone donated. You can look at the document, it says everything. After saying that, the young man said goodbye again. I wish you a happy life, good health, and happiness. Director Wu quickly opened the document and saw a familiar name on the first line. Shura. It turned out to be Shura. These sources of life are all donations from Shura. Boss, this. The bald manager lit a cigarette and didn't know what to say for a moment. Now it's the world of young people. Director Wu let out a long sigh, with mixed emotions. He glanced at the bald manager and put out his cigarette. I quit smoking, and I don't smoke second-hand smoke anymore. You also quit smoking. It's not a good thing. Smoke, smoke, smoke whatever you want. With that said, Director Wu took back the half-pack of cigarettes with 14 cigarettes left and put them back in his pocket. Everything will fall into place. Hurry up to the trading secret realm and buy the things back. I proved it 1 against 3 back then, so I can't just sell it. Walk out of the combat strength test hall. Ye Bai completed his job as a courier and felt good. Back at the wolf lair, Ye Bai opened a bottle of 1982 beer to rinse his mouth, and stayed in the corner, silently watching everyone's carnival. According to the results of previous discussions with Xuemeng, Ye Bai first took out 10L of the source of life, 200,000 drops. Not all those who have retired due to injuries are willing to fight again to kill the enemy. The human race is in a tight situation now, so they can only focus on these people who are willing to return, and if there are any left, then expand the scope. Everything must be prioritized. In the corner, Xuemeng walked over quietly without attracting much attention. Little, fourth brother, cough cough. Xuemeng didn't know how to address him for a moment. Old Master Wei asked me to send you a message, saying that your rewards cannot be redeemed today, so wait until tomorrow. New. There is always a price to pay for bugs. What's more, Xiaoyao is still helping Ye Bai wrap things up, so it's not a big problem. The man next to you asked you not to go back before 6 o'clock. He is busy killing people. When he said this, Xuemeng's face turned pale, as if it brought back some bad memories. Good. Ye Bai glanced at Xuemeng in surprise. This guy couldn't really have been chopped down by Master Zhu, right? And my dad asked me to tell you. Wait, why did you change the microphone? Ye Bai was speechless. Can you have some basic respect for the 9th level god of war and the number 1 in the star list? What? I don't respect it either? That's okay. May I ask, who is your father? Xuemeng didn't hide it either, the one from the abyss plane. The most powerful person has no trace. No wonder the skill book was passed back by Xuemeng. And Xuemeng said before that he used a sword, which seems to be the same. Okay, what did your dad say? He said that the top forging master of the demon clan he just captured is still unwilling to build equipment for you, and he is still trying to persuade him. Ye Bai. Is the persuasion you are talking about voluntary? Ye Bai suddenly felt. The second brother can be punished as a human being.